Hey guys, it's Chris here again from Sienci Labs, and I don't normally do the production updates, but Andy's actually on vacation right now, and so I figured I would step in for him, get my face in front of the camera again. It's been a while. This video is going to be a lot more brief than our typical production updates, but trust me, just because the video is short doesn't mean that there's little happening. This is actually probably one of the most busy months that's ever existed for our company. The first thing that I wanted to talk about today is the shop layout. So if you guys have seen our shop tour before, I'm sure you've seen the floor that we do all of our in-house assembly in. This is something that we're really proud of doing assembly in Canada, in Waterloo, because we like to be able to do the quality control of all of our products, and we want to be able to package them all up and send them all out from our shop. Now, because of all the new products that we have coming out, we've been running out of space over and over again, even though, we just recently moved into the new building. And so something that had to take some time to do was actually we had a lifted floor in our entire, it was about half of our assembly space. And we wanted to remove that so that we could install taller shelves, move larger material, and basically install more assembly stations. That delayed production for a little bit because we had to, get all that stuff done and reroute power and all that stuff. We timed it so that it was roughly lined up with when we would have a parts shortage anyways, so it wouldn't affect our production a whole lot. But that process is just about wrapped up now, which is good news because with all the new stuff we have coming, we should be now much more prepared to actually get stuff out the door. Now, speaking of shipping, as you guys have probably seen, there's been changes continuing to happen in the landscape of trade and other stuff especially between the US and other countries. But basically, there's just been some hang-ups happening at the border. Some difficulties we've been having to deal with. We work really closely with our representatives. If you saw the last blog post, you'd see that because of all the new difficulties getting stuff over the border, most other companies have decided to stop doing it, and UPS is one of the only companies left, so we're working really closely with them to try to make sure things go smoothly. But it is not without its difficulties. There are packages that are sent back, there's packages that are misallocated. It's a lot of work. We want to make sure that we do our best to make sure that the experience for you guys is as easy as possible. The biggest update I have to share today is that by the time this video comes out, we will have launched the 4x8 alt mill for pre-order. This is a very big thing. We've been working on the 4x8 machine for a very long time. We feel like if we're trying to serve our community as best as possible, that we should try to make the products that they want to have in their hands to use for whatever empowers them, whether it's an individual or a business. And so that led to us working on a 4x8 cutting area. We're pretty confident in how it's now been set up. There's been lots of testing. We had to move motion systems, but there's a lot of really cool things about it, including the fact that it's at a really good price point for what it does. The speeds are great, the rigidity is great, and we've also managed to make it so that it gets delivered in standard mail. You can receive it at almost any address. You can put it together very easily still. We have great instructions as we have for all of our past machines and customer support. And yeah, we're really hoping that this can tailor to a new community of people, or in a lot of cases, there have been customers that started with us back in the Mill 1 days and have slowly leveled up through time as we've had more machines available. I'm sure there's a couple of you out there that bought an original Mill 1 and might now be buying a 4x8 alt mill, in which case that'd be incredible, and you should totally let us know about that. Now, of course, alongside that is an ATC system. We knew that if we were going to be making a 4x8 CNC, that people were going to want to pay money for to run a more professional business or use case with it, that we would have to use a proven technology that is used by industry. It's taken a lot of time because there's instances where you kind of need to peel back the layers of what industry uses and try to figure out, okay, how does this apply to the type of people that we're trying to sell machines to? What would benefit them? How can we use our scale of production and our history of engineering as a company to try to maybe see if we can rethink the ways that ATCs have been approached in the past to make them a little bit more affordable, a little bit more compact, a little bit easier to service. And this happens not just at the hardware level, but also on the firmware and the software level. We've put a lot of work into GSender, and we're also refreshing the entire firmware stack for the new altmills. But we're very excited about this because we feel like it's the right steps to be taking to make the 4x8 a fully usable 4x8 CNC. The long mill has been going through some updates. I've usually been very hands-on with the prior long mill updates. The new update has been something that Andy's been working on with some of the other engineers on our team. Basically, they're trying to look into refreshing some of the electronics, some of the mechanics. It should be a machine that probably hits around the same price point. It's been a couple of years that that's been on the market now, and we're just trying to see if there's something new that we can do to continue to make it a good budget machine for the average hobby CNCer that wants something a bit of a larger cutting area, but one that's still rigid and reliable for day-to-day operation. Something like the AutoSpin is a different ballgame because it's basically a self-enclosed power tool that needs certification, and it needs to be kind of like a standalone system. And trying to find basically a company that will work with you to make the necessary modifications to make something brand new in its own enclosed, finished state is very difficult. So it's taken a lot of work, but the reason that it's reappearing in the news is because we were staying quiet on it for a while just because we weren't sure where things might end up, but we just recently crossed another hurdle in terms of getting the certification so that we can finally move forward on production. Fingers crossed, if you guys can cross all your fingers and toes, this might finally be a thing. What I can say for certain is that the AutoSpin does cater to a large portion of the CNC, the hobby CNC market. Shapeokos, X-Cars, Onefinities, you name it. Like, there are so many machines that exist out in the market. And it's wild to us that these machines have continued to use kind of an off-the-shelf trim router. The question behind the AutoSpin project, it originated several years ago, where we were thinking to ourselves, like, how hard could it really be to take an off-the-shelf trim router and just put some extra electronics in it so that it can be controlled with a 5-volt PWM signal, and then it could be able to turn itself on and off and set the speed automatically. It would basically have all the capabilities of what people tend to buy spindles for, but in a router kind of form factor, which would be great for a lot of the smaller CNCs on the market. We feel like we've basically gotten there at this point. It's the same size, 65 millimeter bore as the Makita trim router, so you can just fit this onto any machine. It uses the 5-volt PWM, which all typical Gerbil machines will have that as a pinout on the board. It's way easier to set up than a spindle. There's no VFD configuration or mains wiring or anything like that. But you're getting all the benefits of basically an air-cooled spindle for a way lower cost and a way easier setup. We'll keep having more news come out for that as things happen. But for now, that's kind of the new update on that. Other than that, it's been great to sit down and have you guys join in for another production update video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're excited, if you have any comments or questions, please let us know. We always love to hear feedback from our community, and I'll see you guys again some other time.